Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing, and our top story, a sudden rise in rent in what is supposedly an affordable housing complex has driven its tenants to ask for help. Now, one lawmaker is trying to sort out the cause of the rent hike and give relief to residents at the same time. News 2's April Knight has that story.
The Loveland apartment complexes overlooking beautiful Magens Bay is anything but paradise for its tenants at this point. Residents of the apartments have been complaining about drastic increases in rates. Within the last 6 months, the rates have gone up by $200.
The rent went to $567 for one bedroom in January, and then effective July, which is 6 months later, it's going to be $685.50. In the free market, I don't have to go by any rules or regulation. I can charge $2,000 for my one bedroom. Affordable, and the income is different.
Senator Marvin Blyden is in communication with the complex's management company, McCormick Barron. According to Blyden, the company said the reason for the increase was a change in guidelines that affected housing facilities across the nation.
Low income housing HUD policy, that's what they're telling me. I understand that, but at the same time, we cannot sustain that.
Loveland is just one of the 4 that McCormick Barron is managing on St. Thomas. They're also managing another 2 on St. John, where Blyden and other senators met with their tenants on Wednesday night. This is definitely not the last we'll hear of this. According to Senator Blyden, increasing the prices dramatically on tenants whose wages have not changed is tantamount to kicking them out.
To me, it's temporary housing because there is always high turnover because of these type of policies, and you're always going to be forcing people to be homeless because many of them, like I stated, are going to have to move because of the new income limits, and there is no place to put them.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Now, the next meeting is going to be on Monday, May 23rd at the Sheldon Molly High School on St. Thomas. That meeting begins at 5:30 p.m. Count of 2 to keep you updated. Meanwhile, on Thursday, the Senate Committee on Government Services, Veterans, and Consumer Affairs met on St. Thomas. Several testifiers got an update on the operations of the VI Taxi Cab Association. One taxi operator aired his concerns on what he called an unfair playing field for smaller taxi operators.
If you had a pie and you had to split it down the middle, VI Taxi has 85–95% of the industry business. Islander has a small percentage. You have Independent Taxi, you have Magens Bay, etc. Between all of the organizations, when you come down to the independent driver who is on the street, you see that there's nothing left in the pie for this small guy. So all of us are not really created equally because everybody may want to lump us in and say we are drivers, taxi drivers or taxi operators, but we are not all on the same basic level out here. You know, we need to level this playing field.
Lime Tree Bay Terminals announced today that they reopened the truck rack facility. At the facility, the Gulf Oil will be marketing and selling fuels, including regular gasolines, ultra-low sulfur diesel, and jet fuel. Premium gasoline is currently being procured and will be available for sale in the near future. Any questions regarding fuel sales, you can call Gulf Oil at 339-933-7265. Well, the Office of the Attorney General has been in national headlines in the past few months. Attorney General Claude is asking for information from a global oil giant in an investigation tied to climate change, and the company is fighting back. News 2's April Knight has that story.
Attorney General Claude Walker seems unfazed by the pushback against his demand for information from one of the world's largest oil and gas companies, ExxonMobil.
This claim of any First Amendment, that the First Amendment prohibits investigation, is not correct. The First Amendment does not protect against fraud.
At the heart of the issue is whether or not ExxonMobil knew how its business is affecting the world's climate.
Our investigation centers on whether ExxonMobil misrepresented consumers concerning what it knew about the impact and the likelihood of climate change. and the impact on its business.
In March, the Attorney General's office issued a subpoena demanding copies of communications between ExxonMobil and 90 different political and policy organizations engaged in research or advocacy tied to climate change.
Very credible investigative journalists have reported over the years that Exxon scientists, they have modeled or they knew the significant risk of climate change decades before the public was familiar with global warming.
ExxonMobil itself has filed for declaratory relief against Walker. One of their arguments is the fact that ExxonMobil has, quote, no physical presence in the VI. But Walker believes ExxonMobil's operations do impact the Virgin Islands.
The Virgin Islands is ground zero for the negative consequences of global warming, whether it's the rising sea levels, the intensification of hurricanes, and all of this stems from possible consumer fraud on the part of ExxonMobil.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
In other news, don't miss the regular CAPA meeting where you can voice your concerns about issues in the community and be heard. Calling all Pearson Garden Housing Community residents. Plan on attending the May 23rd meeting at the St. Andrew's Episcopal Church on 1st Avenue at 6:30 p.m. It's an opportunity to discuss crime, traffic, trash, and more. The plan is to develop a plan to address the issues, and then a second meeting is held to discuss that plan of action. And the follow-up date for that next meeting is June 6th. Turn our attention overseas. An Egypt Air flight was heading from Paris to Cairo when it disappeared from radar on Thursday. According to the Greek Defense Minister, the aircraft entered Cairo airspace at 37,000 feet, swerved 90 degrees left, then went 360 degrees to the right before it descended to 10,000 feet. Officials say that's when its signal was lost, before it descended into the Mediterranean. 56 passengers and 10 crew members were on board at the time. Congress is trying to save Puerto Rico from full-scale economic collapse. That's according to a revised bill introduced in Congress shortly after midnight on Wednesday. The Obama administration called this latest plan to solve the island's financial crisis a fair but tough bipartisan compromise. The act is called Promesa, the Spanish word for promise. It would create an oversight board that would control the island's finances. It would also have special abilities to restructure the island's whopping $70 billion debt, but only as a last resort. House Speaker Paul Ryan says they kept taxpayers in mind as they structured the bill. Keeping our eye on the economy, let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. And according to the numbers there, we can see everything down. The Dow 91, NASDAQ 26, S&P 500 also down 7. Coming up on News 2, get out the lottery tickets. We have the winning numbers. Plus, Delta Airlines will inaugurate a daily service from Atlanta to St. Croix for 3 weeks over the peak Christmas holiday season. Also, to your health, a little more about skin cancer awareness. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month. Well, more reasons to appreciate home. The U.S. Virgin Islands has been named the best family vacation in the Caribbean by U.S. News and World Report. Beautiful beaches, lots of activities and opportunities to explore, exciting restaurants, history and architectural finds, and abundant shopping are just some of the reasons why they say the USVI is a great family-friendly destination. That's St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. U.S. News has earned a reputation for a series of consumer guides that include rankings of colleges, graduate schools, high schools, hospitals, nursing homes, mutual funds, health plans, diets, and more. In 2013, U.S. News had expanded its monthly audience to over 20 million plus unique visitors with over 120 million page views. Delta Airlines will inaugurate a daily service from Atlanta to St. Croix for 3 weeks over the peak Christmas holiday season, reports the United States Department of Tourism. Commissioner of Tourism Beverly Nicholson Doty announced that the Atlanta-based carrier will augment its twice-weekly winter service from Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport to Henry Rolson Airport with daily flights from December 17, 2016 through January 7, 2017. The United flights will operate from George Bush Intercontinental Airport in 4 days a week from early June through mid-August, and the airline will operate daily flights from Washington Dulles International Airport to St. Thomas this summer. The Office of the Governor, in conjunction with Public Works, is partnering for an upcoming Keeping Our Cemetery Clean initiative. That's slated to begin on Monday, May 23rd through Saturday, May 28th. Western Cemeteries 1, 2, and 3, and Eastern. The cleanup will consist of cleaning up brush, trash, and the cleaning and painting of grave sites. You are urged to support and demonstrate your VI pride. Call the Administrator's Office at 340-693-4350 to get involved. Now, in case you are wondering why the Long Path Garden Street area of St. Thomas is closed, it's because a task force of government agencies have been designated to clean up the area. It began today and continues on Friday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. They are removing abandoned vehicles, debris, and addressing fire safety hazards, as well as issues related to mosquitoes, and that's just to name a few. Senator Novell Francis Jr. is proposing legislation that would support greater enforcement of the territory's waters. The bill was heard before the Committee on Government Services, Consumer and Veterans Affairs. Francis worked closely with the Department of Planning and Natural Resources on that bill. Presently, all boats, regardless of type of use, pay the same $5 per foot. Francis' bill would establish fees up to $20 per foot based on the length of the vessel and the type of use. It also establishes vessel anchoring fees, which do not exceed $4 per foot. He intends for revenues from the fee increase to be dedicated to strengthening DP&R's marine enforcement activities. Students are showcasing innovative ways to use technology and demonstrate fun, hands-on STEAM experiments. The Virgin Islands Department of Education, St. Thomas St. John District, remind you to check out the annual STEAM Fair, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. It continues through Friday, May 20th at UVI. Here's more.
Hi, my name is Kalina Nilsson. And I'm Trevonique Adams. And this is our project, which is Kate and Trev's bicycle generator. So basically, our project is about testing the first law of thermodynamics, which means that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only be conserved. So basically what we're doing is converting mechanical energy into electrical energy. Pedaling the bike, the energy from the belt goes into alternator, which converts the mechanical energy into electrical energy, which then charges our 3 electronic devices. So as you can see, my phone is charging, her computer is charging, and the second computer is charging as well.
Great job to the students there, and remember that fair continues on Friday, so be sure to go out and support at the UVI Sports and Fitness Center. Into your health, so you think because you are not fair-skinned or no one in the family has it, or you're not in the sun too often, you're safe from skin cancer? Well, doctors say everyone should protect themselves from the sun, especially here in the VI where it's mostly sunny. Here's why. Skin cancer, the abnormal growth of skin cells, most often develops on skin exposed to the sun.
So when you think about the sun, the way you get skin cancer there is the sun is chronically damaging our skin, so it has to repair itself. And it doesn't do a good job always. Usually it does, but when it doesn't, that's when you can get a skin cancer.
There are 3 major types of skin cancer doctors look out for.
Most common skin cancers in blacks and Hispanics is squamous cell cancer. Squamous cell cancer in those people with darker skin usually can happen in regions you don't think about with a lot of sun exposure, in the anal genital area and on the feet and hands. Squamous cell cancer is more common in those groups. Basal cell cancer is a cancer that's directly associated with exposure to the sun and is the more common cancer in Caucasians and fair-skinned Hispanics. Also, melanoma is very common as a skin cancer.
Knowing what to look for can help you spot cancer early while it's still curable with surgery.
Skin is our largest organ, but it can be seen easily. So when you see your physicians, they should be examining your skin, not just in sun-exposed areas, but throughout the body and including the private areas. Skin cancer is the most common cancer that's diagnosed. It can be treated easily if caught early. Unfortunately, because so many in our community don't believe that people with dark skin can get skin cancer, they often don't get screened or get tested early enough, and the cancer has progressed and advanced to where they can die from it.
You can reduce your risk of skin cancer by limiting or avoiding exposure to ultraviolet radiation. Checking your skin for suspicious changes can help detect skin cancer at its earliest stages.
So please see your docs if you have anything that's bleeding, crusting, or a non-healing wound, or if you have a bump that is new and growing in size, or a brown spot on the palms of hands or soles of feet. Those are things that are really important, and always, always, always protect your face, neck, and other parts of your body. So right here at Charlotte Kimball Cancer Institute, we can take care of those. And there are good surgeons in the community who can also help out with that.
Now, doctors say people who get melanoma have a high risk of developing another one. Melanoma can appear anywhere in your hair, between your toes, but most often on areas that gets lots of sun exposure. So be sure to use the sunscreen. A pregnant woman in Puerto Rico has become the first American whose fetus developed microcephaly because of a Zika infection acquired in the United States, the territory's health department announced on Friday. The fetus, which was not carried to term, had developed a shrunken skull and calcified spots on the brain, suggesting inflammation and cell death. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention confirmed it. The fetus in Puerto Rico was miscarried in the second trimester. Now, back here at home in the VI for the second week in a row, the U.S. VI Department of Health reported no new cases of Zika. 601 pregnant women in the U.S. VI have been tested for Zika, and 3 were confirmed positive. One of the many things that we Virgin Islanders love about our island is our ability to have access to a host of fresh and delectable seafood. If you purchased a sheet of the last VI lottery ticket, you will notice the featured fish found in the seas that surround us. There are a lot of fish in the sea, but did you reel in the top prize of $175,000? Here are the winning numbers.
The VI Lottery presents draw results of today's drawing on News 2. Here are the top prizes. Fifth prize for $20,000, 28540. 28540. Fourth prize for $30,000, 06353. 06353. Third prize for $40,000, 27032. 27032. Second prize for $65,000, 17468. 17468. And the winning ticket number for the grand prize of $175,000 is 27641. 27641. If your ticket number wasn't called, keep trying. One of these days, your number could win. Play the VI Lottery and imagine the possibilities.
And good luck as you check those tickets. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.